Well, I think, should we get started? Is anyone going to join me on the video, or are they going to stay looming in the background? Should we find out? Hello and welcome to all of you. I'm Jo Henderson and I work in the marketing team at Dux-Soup, and I help to manage and co-host these fortnightly webinar sessions. It's at this time, for those of you who are often with us, that I would normally tell you that I'm joined by our Head of Professional Services, Giles Garnett. However, this week, Giles has handed the gauntlet over to our founder, Will van der Sanden, so you can hear firsthand all about the launch of our newest feature. Now, he's clearly staying hidden in the background. You're going to turn your camera on. Go on, I dare you, join me.
Okay.
Very easy. Playing hide and seek with everyone. For those of you who manage multiple LinkedIn accounts for your clients, today's session is a complete game changer, and Will is going to walk you through exactly why in just a few moments. We've got a great mix of existing agency users and non-Dux-Soup users today, so hopefully this will create some interesting engagement from all of you. I'm sure there will be lots of questions as we go, so please enter these into the question box, which you can find in the GoToWebinar dashboard. I'll work through as many as possible during the session and save the best for Will at the end. So make sure you don't go anywhere, otherwise you'll miss the best bits. As always, the recording will be available later today anyway, and will be sent to you by email. So you can, of course, play and pause the session to your heart's content. So now, if we move on, we can get started. So for those of you who are new, welcome. As I said, Dux-Soup, what is it? Well, it's a Chrome extension which you can use to mimic human behavior on the LinkedIn platform. You can create and select the list of profiles that you want to target, and then let Dux-Soup run your chosen activities against that list. So we recently launched the Cloud Edition to provide always-on lead generation from any browser, with the advantage of being able to close your laptop in the knowledge that your activities will continue to run, which is awesome if you want to go on holiday, because you can. So the Cloud Agency Dashboard, why have we launched it and why is it here? Well, this was the obvious next step for us and was developed in response to market demand, quite simply, and customer feedback. So we're always working with our customers. We're always asking them to feedback so that we can understand the user experience and also understand more about what our users need. And market demand, well, we're seeing a massive upturn in demand for lead generation tools on LinkedIn, from anyone from small business owners to massive corporates. They all want a better way of managing their client activity. So this was why the Cloud Agency was, the dashboard was a perfect addition to our feature list. So if I move on to the benefits of the Cloud Agency Dash, Will's going to talk more about these in a minute, and you can see for yourself, but put very simply, it's a super simple way of adding and removing clients. We provide a full dashboard so you can easily switch between your different client accounts, both in the dashboard and within LinkedIn itself. There's a multi-funnel view to help you analyze and measure the success of your campaigns and your activities. And my favorite feature, I think, at the moment is the one-time login. So you don't have to keep having additional authentications every day, every time you go into a client account. So for me, that's definitely a real game changer. So if I hand over now to Will, and perhaps you would like to run us through the demonstration of those 4 points. Let's cross our fingers on the technology, shall we, Will?
Yeah, well, that should be all under control, right? Okay, yeah, well, thanks, Jo, for the intro. And yeah, best wishes to Giles, obviously, in his some dental issue that he's experiencing. So I will, yeah, as Jo said, I will just go through a number of different demos highlighting the key features. And I don't know, maybe Jo, for the questions, do you want to do the questions in between each demo, or would you like to just do that at the end? What's the?
I think what I'll do is I'll monitor the questions that come in. I imagine some people won't be able to type quick enough, and some people will. So if I see some that come in that relate to what you're looking at on the screen, then I'll ask them straight away, if that's okay. Otherwise, I'll obviously come back to others at the end anyway. So
yeah, sure. Because we do have a Q&A. Okay, yeah. Well, it's okay. Well, let's get cracking there, right? So the first of all, well, obviously the first thing you want to do when you start managing your client's LinkedIn account on Dux-Soup is to add mostly add, and when they decide to no longer use your services, remove. But I will just show you what this looks like. The adding in Dux-Soup, the removing is not so exciting. So the dashboard you're looking at now is the agency, or sorry, I should say that it's the cloud agency admin view. So each cloud agency license will have one or more licensed administrators appointed, and each one of those will get this new toolbar at the top. So basically anyone who was in a licensed admin of your cloud agency license will be able to do what I'm going to show you now. So it's pretty straightforward. There's 3 buttons here, as you can see, and well, there's not much guessing on which button I need to click to add a session. So I'll just do that. When you hit add session, you just need to add some. Well, basically, it's really just the name, so you can identify the account later when it shows up in the list of available accounts. So I will add an account for John Doe. And at this point, the license key you don't need to populate; it's automatically added for you based on basically on the license you're using at the moment. And if you got multiple, then you can select it here as well. And then when you hit OK, then you will see the dashboard. Well, you get the message that the new profile has been created and the session has switched to this user John Doe. And on the left, we now have all the familiar options that we know from the regular Dux Dash. So now basically what is happening is there's a profile inside the inside Dux-Soup created, and now we just need to bring in the LinkedIn session so you can actually start using this account. So for that, we'll go to LinkedIn, and I'll show you the whole onboarding. So you need to just log in, and most commonly you will also for the initial login, you will need to go through this 2-factor authentication. Not everyone will have this enabled, but it's getting more and more common, really. And later on, we'll show you how this is only a one-off action. So now we've got the LinkedIn session initiated here, and then we just need to go back to the dash. And on the Cloud Monitor, we just need to start the session. And by doing that, you will see there will be well, in the same way as the regular cloud version, there will be a cloud container started, and the cloud container will then also be populated with the session that we just logged into, and this will this will take a few seconds. So now it's logging in. So now it's transferring the session details, really in the same way as this happens in regular cloud. There's on that side of the product, there's no real change. The change is really inside the way that you interact with the different accounts in the Dux Dash. Right, so and there you go. So now we're logged in as John Doe. So that means that the remote session is now active, and I can start well, basically doing a search and start using Dux-Soup for this particular session in the way that you all know, by enrolling profiles and tracking the campaigns. So that is really how you add a account to Dux-Soup via the cloud agency dash. I know it's quite a mouthful. So that is the first demo.
Okay, so if I just ask you then, now you might be coming to this, and if you are, then tell me. But we've had one question from Nils that says, can different profiles be grouped together to perform a duplicate check for sent invitations across multiple profiles? Which means when different team members are working on a client project, can all, let's say there's 3 of them, can all 3 of them see the activity that has happened for that client account?
Well, basically, anyone who's got admin access to the license will be able to access well, for one, the session for that particular account, as in you can switch to the session, and you can get the overview of all the sessions via the multi-funnel, and I'll show you that. But for that, you do need to be logged in as a cloud license admin.
Okay.
But yeah, you can have multiple of those, and they all have the same functions.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so let me just go back to. Okay, so that's the adding. Well, not the removing. The removing really is just a matter of clicking on the remove button, and then the session is removed, and also the cloud session is shut down. Obviously, if I do that, then the demo would be really short, so that's why I'm not doing it at this point. Okay. Oh, this is the switch. It should actually say switching seamlessly between the client accounts. I think I was actually doing a quick edit before the webinar, and it just shows I shouldn't be doing that. You should never do last-minute things before webinars.
Switching seamlessly between clients' accounts.
Switching seamlessly. So I will switch seamlessly to the dash. So let me just switch to the campaign. Actually, I'll just go to the cloud monitor. That's nicer. So when you click on the switch session, then you get a number of, basically you get one entry in the list of all the sessions that are currently active, and also of the admin session that you're currently using. So the team Dux-Soup at the top here, you can tell by the crown, is an admin. So that admin session does not have to be linked to an actual LinkedIn session. So you can just log in as an admin and not use that account for any real outreach. And then you would just add more sessions below that. And that is really, I think, the preferred way of doing that. And then, well, before I created these 2 other sessions, in the same way that I just created the John Doe one, and from here it's I can't make it any more difficult, but you just click on the session you want to go to, and then you'll see the LinkedIn tab will disappear. The extension actually restarts as well, and now the tab is loaded, and you'll see that later on as well. The tab, as in the tab locations are actually remembered. So when you switch between the different sessions, the extension will restore the tabs as you left them. But now, as you can see here, I'm on Scott's account, and well, there's been no login. As you've seen, it's really just retrieving the session as it's been created in when initializing the session in Dux-Soup or in the Dux Dash. And also I can switch to another thing to point out. You can see now here, so the cloud monitor is reporting on the relevant account for this session. Also the funnel flow will show you the data for this particular session, and the same is true for all the common sort of actions that are linked to one particular session. They all will be linked, or they will be showing what is currently selected at the top here. So this is always where you can see, well, what am I looking at? Okay, this is the active session for those tabs. And now also one of my favorite options is, so when I switch to another account here, you can see the tabs loading in the background, and you see it will actually just reopen tabs where you were left off. So that also means you can have searches that you leave open. You can revisit the searches. It just makes it really straightforward to navigate between the different LinkedIn accounts without any repeat authentication, as we mentioned earlier. And now I'm back on John Doe. You can see, so this is it's back on the growth hacker search, and that's how you switch. And I don't think we can make it any more seamless than this. Sure.
Perfect. So we have got some more questions as well, Will. Just bear with me because some of them are quite meaty. So there's a few people. Jay is one, and Lisa is another, talking about client profiles and any concerns over kind of needing passwords and client permissions and security, and also the possibility of being able to merge or confuse campaigns. So you start writing something and launch it in the wrong page. Are there any potential issues there whereby you might, whilst you're switching, you might end up in the wrong profile?
Well, you just need to make sure that when you switch the profile, that when you then check that you make sure that what it says here is a profile you want to work on, and then you can just go to your drip campaigns, your funnel, and your queued activity, and it will just show you what's relevant to this session. So there is no, as long as you make sure that this is that you check what's here is what you're after, then there is no possibility of any data being confused.
No cross-contamination. And what about from a client security perspective? Is there anything that they might need to see or that we can offer so that clients are happy that there can't be any data leak? Or is it simply that it's cloud-based and?
Well, I mean, if your client, so as in you can't both, but then let me take a step back. So if you're providing services where you're taking over the LinkedIn account management of a client, purpose of lead generation on LinkedIn or client management, then obviously you're going to need access to that account. And well, by having access, even if you just use the account just in a straightforward way without any automation, then you will need to make sure that you can explain to your customer that your internal processes are such that you won't be sharing the data with anyone inappropriate. But that is not really, that is just more of an issue with the agency model, where you will need to be having access to these LinkedIn accounts. And it's not, so Dux-Soup just makes it easier to manage this process. It doesn't enforce any sort of best practices in terms of who can share, who can get access to the accounts. That's up to you to organize them.
That's the responsibility of the individual business or the individual person and how they communicate and liaise with their clients. Fabulous. Let's have another look at how many people can use the Dash account. Is there a limit, a maximum limit?
There is no limit. No.
It's infinite. It's a massive number. You could have the biggest global corporate agency in the world and they can all have access. Wonderful. That was
I think you might run into some practical limits if you really not, and we'll obviously make it more usable for larger and larger sets. But there is no limit in terms of that our license is based on a particular limitation there. So it's but yeah, the products will probably, when you add hundreds of accounts, will need a bit of more, a few iterations to make that more easy to manage. But yeah, there is no limitation in terms of what we are licensing to our customers.
Excellent. What else have we got here? So this might lead nicely into the next demonstration. This is Graham is asking, we have multiple team members from different companies who have different Dux-Soup licenses. Does the agency dash mean we can bring them all together under the same dashboard so that we can view them all together?
Yes, that would be the very short answer.
I think we should look at the multi-funnel view now, because I think that might partly answer that question.
Yeah. So just very quickly on that one, the way that no, you're right. That's hang on.
Of course, I'm right.
I know. All right. Let's see. So that was the seamless switching.
So the multi-funnel view is the next one.
The multi-funnel view for analyzing and measuring success. So I will show you how that works. And this is the option in the menu. It is actually it's a slight, well, it's basically a different name from the team licenses where it was called team funnel, but we switched to multi-funnel because it's really just it's used in different contexts. So well, yeah, with the multi-funnel, which is only accessible to the admins, there you can hang on. I think we have a rogue user. I think it's Niels Doublestein has added the license key to and has now joined the team. So I think we're having a bit of a data issue now. It just goes to show that we shouldn't be showing license keys in demos.
Niels, I was helping you earlier. Get out.
So yeah, no, unfortunately, I can't really do much about that at the moment. So maybe if I can go to, so that is unfortunate. So yeah, that's not. We won't be able to demo that. So the.
Are we able to demo the next one, which is the? Let me remind myself. Client account access. Or
yeah, sure.
Did that as well. Niels, sure. We're going to name and shame you, dude. Not good etiquette.
That's unfortunate, but for those who were, yeah. So in fact, what you will be, if you're seeing here, and in a normal situation, is the this part of the funnel, and therefore basically for all the members that you've added to the license. So you will see you can switch between the stats and the funnel view for each of the accounts, or sorry, for the view, and then at the bottom there's an aggregate showing the total, and also there's an export function where you can export the data that you're looking at, so you can use that then for reporting to your customers.
So if you have let's say 4 different customers, would you see all 4 customers in that funnel list?
Yeah, the funnel list will show in effect 1 entry for each session that you've created here. Yeah.
Okay. So let me see. We've got a few other questions as well, so let me ask those. Can I confirm that it's only admin user that can switch between the different accounts? Is that right or not?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, the difference with this new dash is that there is an authenticated profile, which is the one you see here. So if I click on that, you'll see that the user that's actually authenticated against the server, in this case, is this user here. Yeah. And it's only by virtue, and that is checked on the server, by virtue that this user is an admin of that key, and then that the users of the key can then be accessed by this admin. So if you would decouple the admin from this key, then also they won't be able to switch to the sessions that are related to that key either. Yeah, so it's only available to the admins of the key that are able to access those sessions.
And what would happen if you had two admins attempting to log into the same user, the same profile?
They will be able to access the same profile. There would not be an issue. No. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it more because then you might be doing overlapping work. And I think in the not too distant future, we'll probably make it a bit more well visible of which admin is linked to which account. So just so people don't step on each other's toes. But there's no technical restriction there to access the accounts from different, to access the sessions from different admin accounts.
Okay, so in theory then two admins could go into the same account if they haven't talked to each other prior. They could go into the same account and start doing things simultaneously. Again, so it's an internal process thing whereby we communicate with the team and say, I'm working on this account, you're working on that account, and as a result, everyone knows who they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Sorry, I'm trying to read them, but just bear with me.
Don't worry.
Really meaty, guys. Like, come on, keep them short and sweet. We've answered that one. I manage a number of client profiles, which involves them providing me with their login details and passwords. I assume we have to get permissions. Yes, Lisa, I think we've actually answered that one already. Nils, you've asked another question. I'm not sure whether I want to answer it, given you've done Muppet things. Do you recommend using a VPN when managing client Dux-Soup accounts?
Well, I mean, we generally recommend using VPNs that mimic the or are located geographically with the regular access for that account. But yeah, from experience though, I'm not really seeing proof that LinkedIn is really monitoring any of that. I mean, we do it. We also do it as well with our cloud sessions, and we generally recommend it. But yeah, in my sort of engineering work around the product, it doesn't actually seem to be necessary. It seems to be more to give you as a customer and or your customers some additional feeling of safety. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be necessary.
Okay. What information do we need from the client's account to take control with this version of Cloud Agency?
You just need, you need the login details, and as part of the login process, you will probably need, depending on how they've set it up. Some people use email, some people use an authenticator app. But generally, you'll see that most clients will have some sort of two-factor authentication. So they just need to assist you for the initial onboarding. After that, then you can just exit the account without any further sort of interaction with your client for that process.
Yeah, I think that bit's genius. I mean, it's all genius. Obviously, I love all of it, but I think that when you showed me that, I just thought, how cool. Because everything now needs 2, 3, 4 factor authentication. So it's great not to have to keep going backwards to the client every couple of days saying, oh, sorry, there'll be an email coming in. Can you reapprove it? Yeah, so that was for Jose. Let's have a look at another one. Can you describe the difference? This is from I want to say Maya. I'm really sorry if I've got it wrong. Can you describe the differences between Team Cloud versus Agency Cloud?
Yeah, sure. So Team Cloud really, the sort of the use case is around team members of a business development team who are working together, probably in the same, well, definitely in the same company, but maybe even on the same location, and they are running or sharing campaigns where they're running. Well, where one person will be editing the campaign and then sharing that via the team campaign option, where they rely on Dux-Soup to not have team members basically reach out to the same LinkedIn profiles as part of the same campaign. So it's really much more around this team effort and team campaigns that you're running for a particular business. Whereas with the agency, that's where you're much more looking at the use case where a digital agency is doing done for you lead generation or LinkedIn account management for their customers. So the customers and the accounts therefore will not have any reason to share campaigns or to have any sort of, there's no key concept between those accounts. And as such, the use of the team sessions is therefore still linked to your actual Google profile. So a team cloud session, a team member who is running on the cloud will still authenticate against the Dux-Soup service with their Google account. And there's also nobody who can take over that session. It's really just accessible to the owner of that account. And well, obviously, in the case of agency, there are generally 1, 2, maybe 3, people who are handling the outreach, and they will have maybe up to 10 accounts per person to manage.
Okay, thank you. So this is a very general question really from David. So he's just said, can I just confirm then that we should be telling the clients if we're in the account not to use their account at the same time?
We would generally recommend that, especially if you're running a regular LinkedIn account. With Sales Navigator, it doesn't seem to be much of an issue at all, to be honest. But on a regular LinkedIn account, we would generally recommend that when a client hands over the management of the account, do not, or minimize or coordinate in any case the if there is a need to still access the account. But we definitely want to minimize that.
Not to overstep on each other's shoes. Oh, this is a good question. This is from Jay. Will Dux Agency be a different product for purchase, or will I automatically be able to access Dux Agency with a standard cloud license?
So the Dux Agency is already we have a few with a Cloud Agency customers. So those customers running a Cloud Agency license at this moment, they will automatically be switched to this dashboard once we've done the update of the service. So there are no two different versions of the Cloud Agency product. They will be automatically be moved to this model.
So Jay, I'm not sure if you're already on an agency Cloud Agency model or not yet, but yeah, if you are, then later this week you'll have access to the dashboard too. Let's have a look. Do you have, this is from Jose, do you have lower introductory rates planned for this version of agency?
Not at this point, no.
No, apologies, Jose, but no, that's a flat no. Michael says, thank you, you're welcome. Andreas has said, so what package is best if I manage 5 profiles for one company? I think that came after the team versus agency question. So if I manage 5 profiles for one company, would I be better on a team license or an agency license?
Well, it depends what you're after, really. If those accounts, if you're running a team-based outreach, meaning a single campaign where multiple of those accounts are going to be targeting a single audience in a sort of in a team outreach, then you'll be looking for a team account. But if that is not a concern, then I would definitely go for the agency license, because then you can run this all without having to switch Google profiles, which is probably what you're doing at the moment.
We have a question from Alessandro. Do you mean that you don't require individual Chrome profiles for each LinkedIn or Sales Navigator account?
Yeah, that's correct. You only need one Google account for the admin, and all the rest of the access is done without requiring any additional accounts.
Perfect. Simples, Alessandro. Platform. Sorry, I'm doing that thing now where I read them really quietly in my head. Can you set up different time zones for different profile sessions, or for different profiles or different sessions? This is from Anna.
Yeah. So at this point, with this immediate release, you can't. As in, you can't. There is no sort of, because we clearly have different. We set a time zone for each session in the cloud to make sure that the robot does the work at the right time. But we don't expose that at the moment in this dashboard. But that is obviously something we'll be adding very soon. But not at this point, but very soon, yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Jose has said, "Hi, I'm from Spain. When will it support in Spanish, please?"
We are actually working on that, and we will be. Well, I would say in the first half of this year, and if not the first half, then definitely quarter 3. But work is on the way to also make the dash fully support multiple languages, like the extension does at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm going to read this question, but I'm not 100% certain what the question is. So if you're also not sure, then we'll both apologise and move on. So the leads reach the funnel flow as always. Is there any possibility of any development on how to manage leads in the cloud version of Dux-Soup? I'm not sure about the development query. Does that make any sense to you, Will? Is there any possibility of any development on how to manage leads in the cloud?
Well, there is, I think, well, obviously I'm sort of guessing here, but one missing bit of functionality that we haven't got in the product is, and I don't think actually see it. Well, obviously I can't show you missing, but so we do have the prospects that are part of the funnel, but there is no overall view of all the leads that you've ever interacted with as part of Dux-Soup, and that is something that we will be adding this year. So in that sort of lead management, so we do see a need for that, especially people who want to filter a list and then reintroduce them into different campaigns. So in that sort of use case, it will make sense for us to have some sort of lead management here. But one area where we definitely don't want to venture into is to become to turn Dux-Soup into a CRM system. So we want to minimize that and then really rely on the CRM integration that we have to manage those leads. So maybe it's worth looking at that as well.
Okay, that's great. Now, again, apologies on the pronunciation. That was for, I'm going to say Huino or Quino. I'm really sorry. I'll work on my language capabilities, I think. Andreas says, thank you very much, Andreas. Can you allocate, so this is from Dale, can you allocate prospects to other Dux-Soup team members? Well, I guess if you're jumping in and you can see that there's some work to be done, can you allocate some of that account or that work or that to someone else on your team?
Are we talking about in the context of the cloud agency dash, or is this a different context? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Dale, if you're still on, can you perhaps ask your question again or add a bit more detail to it, and we'll try and answer it if we can do. Oh, Dale's just said he thinks I've just answered it. Okay. So unbeknown to both of us, it looks like we've already answered it anyway. Thanks, Dale. Who else have we got here? This is a multi-funnel question again. I don't know whether you'll be able to show this. Can I filter sessions in the multi-funnel view if I don't want to see all the accounts that are there?
Well, not yet.
Okay.
Because there will be, like I said, there were basically two links of ownership. One is via the license key that is used, which is linked to your cloud agency license. So there will be some sort of logical grouping that we'll be doing there. And then basically anyone who enrolls a LinkedIn session into the Dux-Soup will become some sort of owner of that session, and that will also become a natural grouping. But yeah, that is something that we will be adding later. We are aware, but at the moment it's just a list, but it's alphabetically ordered, so you should be able to at least use that to find your way.
Okay. I'm just replying to Eric. Hang on a minute. I'm not aware of any delay. There we go, Eric. I've just sent you a response. That was from Martina that you just answered the question.
Okay, so we're going to just quickly do, because there was still one demo to go.
Yeah, you do it now.
Then we can go to the final Q&A, and otherwise my well, not that this particular demo is well, no, it is actually very cool, but it's not. Yeah, no, I'm not sure what I was trying to say here. Right. So in this one here, the easy client account access for value-added LinkedIn account management, and so this is actually talking about the ability to access the full-blown LinkedIn account of your customers once you've added those sessions to the dash, and that is something that you will find is actually quite unique in the LinkedIn automation space, well, because nobody else can do this. So as you can see, with the access to the full account, so apart from just build or serving up or serving your customers with the campaigns and the reports, you can actually also put in like additional custom services, like maybe liking a few articles or doing some posts, really just ad hoc activity in LinkedIn. You can then wrap and offer as a service to your customers because you have full access to their account. And I I just want to show you, especially when you have a customer with a Sales Navigator, which is going to be probably a good percentage of the accounts. Then you'll have also the option to use the lead lists, where you can basically build lists that you can also share with your customer, or even you can have your customer build those lists, and then you can use those lists inside Dux-Soup. It's really the sort of opportunity of just coming up with additional services is really limitless in terms of LinkedIn management. So you can basically automate everything out of the box with Dux-Soup, and you can pretty much do anything else by adding that via well, in effect, manual process internally, but to your customer, it obviously is just a part of the services that you deliver. And that's the seamless account access that I think is going to be quite a differentiator for agencies who are going to be running with Dux-Soup in terms of what they can offer their clients.
Oh, I'm talking away in the background and no one can hear me. Yes, absolutely. We've got another question here. What happens with data cached in the extension? Is that something that we can discuss, or?
There is no data, so this extension doesn't cache any data.
Brilliant, awesome. That answers that then, Scott.
Yeah.
So I think we've come to the end of the questions. Thank you, everybody. If we just jump back to the last slide on the agency, yeah, if you could just run through that then, Will, and then
well, so the agency, as I mentioned, the agency dash basically will become the automatic not preferred, but basically will become the dash for anyone running who is a licensed admin and has a cloud agency license. So you can already purchase the license via, and I can just quickly swap via the usual means. So if you just go to basically Dux-Soup.com and go to pricing agency. So it is this one here, this license here. That it will be, well, yeah, so that's the license that will include the dash, which will be out this week. It's always good to know, or to also stress here, is that this license is metered, meaning that you basically, what you pay for 5 seats per month as a minimum. So this is basically, you need to divide it by 5, and then you know what you're paying per seat. And at the end of each month, you will be billed for the next month of 5 seats, and the previous month the difference in usage on top of the 5 seats. So as you add and remove these sessions, so once you do add a session, so then in that month that session will be billed. But if you remove the session before the month lapses, then the next month that session will no longer be billed. So that sort of metered usage means that you really only pay for what you use. Also, just good to know is this is automatic high flyer. So that means that you'll be enrolled in our customer success program, where we will help you where we can in setting up your campaigns, setting up your processes to make sure that you get the most out of Dux-Soup. So that's where you can get going with the cloud agency license. Existing turbo users. Well, the nice thing is generally with the cloud solution that we have is when you are an existing turbo customer, when you switch license, your campaign just runs as before, but then it will just run in the cloud. So it's really in terms of sort of continuity for your process, your internal processes. It's a no-brainer. You really just need to get the license, activate the sessions, and then all the campaigns will just continue. Oh, I'm sorry, I just flashed through. new users, actually not entirely sure what this last bullet point, what I can add to that. I'll leave it for now.
Let's skip onto this page. Yeah, so this is, we've got 2 new pages on our website. They're currently hidden, I think, still. So the links are down there for you. And I've also copied them into the chat function in the dashboard. They're the first ones that I've put in there. So there's one that gives you information about the agency plan and the pricing. And the other one is just more about the agency plan, how it works, and gives you links to some other content that we've written to help you kind of know a little bit more about it, and also a couple of case studies which are using the cloud agency function at the moment. If you skip on to the next one, please, Will. We've done the questions. Let's skip on to the next one. It's a good way of doing the questions, I thought, doing them as we go. It was fun. So our next webinar is on the 30th of April, when we'll be joined by Scott Wright, our seasoned Dux-Soup webinar host, and now also our head of sales. Scott loves nothing more than a live Q&A, so to give him the welcome he truly deserves, we've decided to hold a session dedicated purely to your questions. So when you register, which let me just pop the link in now so it gives everyone time to, so this is the reg link for next webinar. There we go. I've pasted that into the chat. So if you want to register now, then you can do. When you do, you'll have the option to submit a question in advance, which we can obviously use to get the session started. Rather than spending lots of time on slides, we'll just head straight to your questions, and hopefully we'll get more as the session unfolds as well. Scott and Giles will both be on hand to pass on their wisdom and demo anything that you might want to explore. If you jump onto the next slide, please, Will. If you need any help with anything that we've gone through today, not only will you receive a copy of the video so you can revisit any of the content, but if you're looking for some one-to-one sessions, then we provide free 15-minute session to cover specific questions that you might have, or we also have 2 longer sessions, a booster session and a technical session, where we can discuss things in a bit more detail and help work through certain problems for you, certain challenges or certain questions. And the tech session helps you to, if you have any problems or questions about integrating Dux-Soup with third-party software. So those 2 are paid services, but nevertheless, they're awesome. And you get to speak to Giles and Scott, and sometimes Will, I think, as well, but I don't know, having never done one myself yet. And I think if you jump onto the next slide, that might be a reminder about our reviews. So if you've enjoyed today's session and found it useful, which I know most of you have, or if you're an existing user and you love what Dux-Soup has to offer, then please leave us a review on G2. Not only will you be rewarded with one of the caps, I've got mine here in the background, and Tracy Enos is sporting one there on the slide, but you'll also be helping other people like yourself who want to work out which tools to use to help them on their outreach journey. So the links there, I've also copied that in the chat function. So if you go and have a look in the chat, take a quick copy of all of the links that I've posted there, then you'll be good to go. And I think that's it from us. Unless Will's got any other comments, then I'd just like to say thanks, Will, for joining me today. Let's send lots of love to Giles and hope he's feeling lots better soon. And thank you for all of those who attended and for all of your awesome questions. We'll see you all in 2 weeks' time.
Okay, thank you.
Take care, everyone. Bye.